Welcome to Candlewick Library. I'm Cheryl. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I'm hoping to read in February. This year, when I am looking at the books that I want to read each month, I am really looking first at my Jurassic Reading Challenge, and then I am looking at my overall biggest goals for the year with reading Michael Crichton, with some of the books that I've wanted to reread, all the things I talked about in my goals video. And then also some of the months there will be readathons. Those will play into the books I choose that month. But I also want to do a lot of mood reading. I want to lean into however I'm feeling at the beginning of the month, and that means some of it might change. In February, there are a few readathons that sound really fun. One of them is the February, and that one is really fun. I've done it in the past. I do love a good retelling, and I do have one that I am hoping to read. So I'll count that as kind of participating. But other than that, it's just going to be off of my own challenges and my mood of what I am right now feeling like I want to read in February. So the first thing that I'm looking at then is my Jurassic Reading Challenge, and February is Triceratops, part of a trilogy. For that, I've had a book on my TBR for a really long time. It is a trilogy that my daughter really likes, and from an author we both like, and I just threw it across the room. This is the first book, Mark of the Thief. This is by Jennifer Nielsen, and this is a runaway slave, stolen magic, a war to bring an empire to its knees. So apparently this is taking place in ancient Rome. My daughter really liked it. I think it's up there with The False Prince for her favorite Jennifer Nielsen books. I don't know if I'll read the other two in the trilogy in February, or if I'll read this one and then get to the other ones later, but this is a priority. Then after that, my next priority is The Lost World by Michael Crichton. I did read Jurassic Park in January, and I wanted to quickly get into The Lost World. And it has been a lot longer since I've read this one than it was Jurassic Park, so I am really excited to get back into this to see if I'm remembering things correctly, to see if I still love it as much as I did the last time I read it. And along with that, one of the things I started in January is this book, Jurassic Park, The Ultimate Visual History. This is about the movies, and this one in particular covers the first 3 movies, and it gives a lot of the background. I'm going to be talking about this more later. I put my bookmark at the Lost World section once I got past Jurassic Park. So as soon as I read the book, I will be then reading the Lost World section of this. And then this is where the mood reading comes into play. The books that I talked about wanting to do a reread of the rest of the Twilight series after having reread Twilight and reading Midnight Sun a couple of years ago. And I decided that February would be a good month for that. My next priority is to reread New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn. Those are pretty big books, but they're so quick and easy to read. So if I'm enjoying them, then I'm pretty sure I will get through them very quickly. So I'm really not worried about being able to get through all 3 of those and the other priorities and in February. And hopefully at that point I'll still have some room for some more books left. The fairy tale retelling that I'm hoping to read in February is Beyond Ivy Walls by Rachel Fordham. I have had this on my TBR for quite a while as well. This is apparently reminiscent of Beauty and the Beast. So Beauty and the Beast is my favorite fairy tale. It's my favorite of the Disney princesses. And this one just in particular sounded like a good retelling, so I'm hoping that it will be. And then for my American Literature course and for Anne in Search of Wonders 1776 Read the Classics edition, I am going to read James Thurber's Secret Lives of Walter Mitty and of James Thurber. I love that movie, so I'm really interested to see how this short little book became that movie. And it's supposed to be funny, so we'll see. Hopefully that, and her prompt was a funny book. This one I'm certain I'm going to be able to get to as well. And then I have 3 books that are maybes, that I will not be upset if I don't get to, but I would love to get to if I'm able to read all of those. I did talk about that I should probably reread The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle before reading one of the other dinosaur books I have for this year. Since I was reading The Lost World by Michael Crichton, it would be kind of fun to read The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle in the same month. So I might get to this one. And then 2 of the books that I did want to get to in January and did not get to, The Inconvenient Letter by Julie Wright and A Most Agreeable Murder by Julia Seals. Julie and Julia. I think these 2 would be really good February reads, so if I can get to them, they would probably be the last ones of the month. And then I also have 2 books that I am currently reading and not planning on finishing in February necessarily, but just to continue reading from January and keep reading them for as long as it takes. The first one is my nonfiction for the Jurassic Reading Challenge, The Rise and Fall of Dinosaurs. I'm only one section through it so far. I decided I would try to read one section every month until I'm done with it. It is a lot of information, so I think it is important to kind of try to digest it a little bit slower. It has been interesting so far. It hasn't grabbed my attention in the way I hoped it would, but I am still hopeful that it will at some point. But it is interesting, so I'm not hating it. And then the other one I started in January is Operation Paperclip. This is by Annie Jacobsen. And this is telling the story of the secret intelligence program where the United States brought Nazi scientists to America after World War II without anyone knowing about it. And this has been extremely disturbing so far, but also very interesting. And I'm about the same amount into it. I'm just a few chapters into this. This is another one I probably will be reading pretty slowly. And then I didn't bring it in here with me, but I also started reading the Iliad with my youngest daughter in our homeschool. So that will be continuing into February as well. Hopefully we'll finish it and move on to the Odyssey in February. But I can't guarantee that. It just depends on how fast we get through it. So those are the books I'm planning on reading in February. I'd love to hear what you are most excited about reading in February.